All right, welcome back to the show. It is July 7th here in Iowa. I'm Nathan Krieps, joined by my co-host, Mr. Bryce Bortscheller. Bryce, is post 4th of July work week the toughest recovery work holiday on the calendar, or is there
Yes.
something else that could be? You think so?
Yeah, 100%. It's tough coming back from New Year's and that whole Christmas fiasco, but I feel like it's the drudgery of winter and people don't expect a lot of out of you, but I think the 4th takes the cake. You're in the middle of summer, you should feel energized and amazing, but this weekend takes everything out of you. You just said that before we hopped on that you were exhausted.
Yeah, I'm just like I said. I mean, I drink, but not of the ridiculous amount. It was more
Yeah.
the fried food we had, the fried cheese balls, the fried chicken tenders, the fried fries, the
Mhm.
fried cheddar bite jalapeno things we had. Anything, all the food, the heat, the outside, and
Mhm.
of course a little beer with the icing on the cake. But the problem is with the 4th of July is like you feel like a kid again, right?
Mm.
You're experiencing the neighborhood, come alive together, just outside, friendly activities with the family, and nobody wants to go to work after that. No
No.
way in hell. After Christmas, like you got nothing better else to do but work. It's like fuck it. I
Right.
don't mind getting
Right.
out of this house and going to work. So I would agree. I would say the 4th of July takes the most out of you and is the hardest to recover from.
Yeah, no doubt. And it looked like you had an awesome weekend in Algona. I saw lots of pictures, and your family's awesome. Nicole and Shane have populated the state of Iowa almost by themselves, and like their kids are getting so old now, and it looked great. So, what was the highlight of the weekend? What was the best part?
Yeah, always the best chill part is my parents just have a pool. It was perfect weather just to sit back there and relax and float around. The pool was almost so warm it was like a bathtub. So at
Yeah,
times, yeah, it felt a little weird just kind of being in it, but it's still a freaking pool and you're drinking beer. But we had two golf outings. First was my
I
annual
saw that.
Creeps Open, where we do a two-person best shot with typically your significant other. My dad did golf with one of my nephews, and then my sister and her husband split up and golf with two of their older kids. And my wife and I, Madison, we came home with the Creeps Family Open champions this year.
Nice,
Yep.
congrats. That's awesome.
Played
That's great.
played at the local country club, Eagle Hills in Laguna. We shot a one under, which is it's a quirky course. It's kind of like Waveland. If I had a
Hmm.
very any lie, you're not flat ever. You're so
Yeah,
uncomfortable stances. And Colby almost had a hole in one, closest I've ever seen a ball to a cup, and hit it just on the backside of the green, and it trickled down, missed it by an inch, and it was about 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches away from the cup at the end of it. So that would have been
awesome.
cool to see. So we won that, and then the next day we have neighbors out by my parents' house, the Bears family, and if you think we're
Hmm.
fun, they're they're a load. That's for damn sure. They like to have a good time more than anyone in the state. So went golfing with all of them out of Spring Valley, public course in Iowa, which is this course, Bryce. I don't know if I've ever talked about it. It's one of the best 18 hole courses in the state of Iowa. And the best part about it, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's about 15 miles southeast of Laguna, just in the middle of nowhere, nothing but farmland. Then you pull up upon this beautiful 18 hole course where Dallas Clark is a member of, and he does a annual Dallas
Ah,
Clark Invitational Golf meeting where he's brought Peyton Manning there before, Bob Sanders, a bunch of
yeah,
NFL guys play out there. So my good friend Victor Birding's family owned that course, and they just kept it up to par, and it was beautiful. So I had a good time golfing out there. And like I said, ate so much fried food that I'm just trying to get it out of my body.
yeah, no doubt. And I said before this started, like the amount of hot dogs and the things that were done hot dog wise just can never happen again. It was something I've never really done before. I'm a bratwurst over hot dog guy, and I'm a burger guy over anything else. But I don't know what got into me this year. Part of it was the Birkwood hot dog is incredible, and I ate like 7 of them. So the cleanse needs to start today.
Yeah, the meat sweats. That's what it is. I just figured
That's
it
what it
out
is.
because I really on Saturday maybe I drank till about like 8 o'clock, but like I maybe had a beer an hour,
Yeah.
and it didn't start till a little bit later too. I didn't have my first beer till like 4, so I really only had like 4, 5, 6 beers maybe, and I quit drinking. But my sister Colby and his girlfriend were over to the Bears family till 3:30 in the morning. I
Yeah.
thank God that didn't happen to me. But I woke up the next day. I'm like, why do I feel so freaking weird?
Yeah.
And like today, I still
Well,
feel
welcome to
weird.
30.
It's got to be the meat sweats, man. And
Yeah,
like I
it
said, we
definitely is.
fried so much freaking food, and my idiot self. After we eat all this fried food all weekend, on the way home, we stopped in Dairy Queen and Humboldt. I got freaking chicken tenders. it's,
It's
I'm an
once you
idiot.
start it, you
I'm a
can't
freaking idiot.
stop.
And I just,
I
I just had Raising Cane's right before this episode too.
Oh my god.
I
You
got it.
got to figure this out quick. Otherwise your stomach is going to be in shambles for the next week, which it
Oh,
probably already will be. I mean, hands down, one of my favorite holidays. I think that's something that's changed over the years. I was always a big Thanksgiving, Christmas guy, but there's something about the 4th of July as I'm getting older that I love. I think it's my favorite holiday. It does not come without its toll, and I'm feeling it for sure.
so you guys just stuck around in the Waukee area?
We did, yeah. A little barbecue at the Thompson household on Thursday night.
Oh,
And
nice.
like I said, we last pod, we got to bring over all the meat, all the Iowa chilled meat. So we did like 14 or 15 burgers. We did like 7 hot dogs, and I think raving reviews across the board from everything we brought. So that was fun. Played some t-ball with his 2-year-old son, and they have a new one too. So Jack and then the 2-month-old. So that was fun. And then we hit the Waukee Centennial Festival on Friday, and that was awesome too. We got Ben and Jeremy and everybody involved in that this year. Low key, but fun. Got some skydivers and front row seats at the fireworks, and then we actually skipped out on my parents. We were supposed to go down to Pella, and we were burnt. We were burnt out.
Yeah, but for
we
you,
called it early.
looking at it from your POV here, you're going on a vacation, right? Is it this upcoming weekend? Going to Wisconsin?
Yeah, we head up to Wisconsin on Friday.
So you're fine. You don't want to spend all 4th of July with your parents, go
That was
back
kind
for a
of the
couple
idea.
days, and then go spend a whole week with them. You'll
Yeah,
be
and
if you
they
think you're
totally
ready to,
understood that.
yeah, if you think you're ready to kill some family members after the 4th of July, I mean, you do that and then double dip on a Wisconsin
Do 8
vacation.
days. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was exactly the thought. Darian was inspired by Scott and Dusty's 75 hard journey right before they left for Budapest and got married. Congrats to those guys. Side note.
Yeah.
And they just got back. But Darian was very inspired by the workout plan that they used to prepare for their wedding bodies. And now that includes not drinking, a little less fried food. And unfortunately, because she's not drinking as much, the social battery runs out a little bit quicker too. So we were kind of playing the long game. Got a big trip coming up. Decided to have a chiller weekend. And I think that was the right move.
So she's done drinking for 70 days? Maybe.
Yeah,
We'll see.
allegedly. I mean, so far so good. I think she's 14 days in and hasn't had a sip yet, so she's doing good.
Damn. I think you're going to see her battery slowly regain itself as you move forward. So now you're probably having some withdrawals, and obviously
Yeah.
you're not as awake and energetic. So I
Yeah.
think once your body and battery realize, hey, maybe I don't need the fuel from the alcohol to get going,
Yeah.
that could be done by natural cause. But I almost need to drink more and eat less fried food if I'm fucking thinking about it. What we did was my brother and I, we went over to Martinson's Marketplace here in Cedar Falls, and
yeah,
where they have a
okay.
bunch of bulk quantity of food items, chicken tenders, fried food. Anyways, we got all the fried food. And now not it was fine not doing that again. But the conversation that kept getting brought up at my family, my brother will come out. He's like, dude, did you bring me the Iowa chilled meats? I'm like, no, I was just with you at Martinson Brothers. And then my dad would shortly come out. He's like, talking about the brat burgers from the Iowa chill meats that we had at my birthday party. So it just, anytime you're around a grill, that topic just gets mentioned again. And the same question just keeps coming up. How can we access this meat? Bryce?
Yeah. So right now, the best way to do it is to go in person. That's going to be like the best way to do it for like 3 or 4 more days. Scott's obviously the developer on our team, and he's trying to get the websites to communicate. So you will very soon be able to order from the Iowa Chill store and get your meat delivered to your doorstep. So that's this week's project. Now that he's back in town, we want to bring that meat right to your door. So you don't have to come all the way to Des Moines to get these products that we've been talking highly of for really since your birthday, middle of May. We're pumped about that, but it's a process.
You're gonna ship. Sure. We're gonna be able to ship meat to people's doors here.
Yeah, not so different from like Butcher Box and everything like that. That's kind of the idea, is maybe a subscription service, but really just being able to order on demand and not having to travel. Obviously, long-term goals, Fairway and Hy-Vee, and having that presence everywhere so that you can go to your neighborhood grocery and do that kind of thing. But for now, you should have a very, very easy opportunity in the next week or so to order that stuff to your door.
See, my problem is with this meat, I had a really good time at my Dirty 30 birthday party, and I barely remember eating it, unfortunately. But all
Yeah.
I hear about is all this freaking meat, how good it was. So I need to
Yeah.
like eat it sober and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
I know. And that was nice. I kind of followed your footsteps a little bit. I didn't drink a ton this weekend. I tried to keep it under wraps. And these days, the hangover is so bad. It's not even worth it. Obviously, I'll let loose here and there as much as I can. But it was nice to actually have a sober burger and remind myself how good that stuff is.
Uh-huh.
So we'll try and get you a package here this week, and maybe Nick and whoever needs one, just so they can be reminded too. But there's um, the access is coming very soon.
Good, good. Yeah, I mean, if you're not shipping it nowadays, you got to be a little bit like Amazon to make this
Yeah.
accessible to the people. If they want the product, let's give them the product. And nevertheless, Bryce, we survived the 4th of July, and it's
Yep.
time to move on. And I think we're all in agreement with that. Happy birthday, America. God bless America. And
Yep.
Bryce, I know you probably don't want to be right now, but 3 Iowans who are incredibly thirsty are coming to your doorstep. You can only choose one of these Iowans to have a beer with. A,
Okay.
Kurt Warner.
Okay.
B, Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa. Or C, Adam Devine. And let me remind people, Adam Devine was born in Waterloo, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a
he's
good
ours.
list.
We
I'd say
claim him.
that's like one of the more even lists we've had so
Uh-huh.
far. There's been some easy decisions for me the last couple of weeks, and I know that we've differed a little bit, but I think I'm going for Kurt Warner on this one. I'm a football guy. I do like Adam Devine a lot. I saw him live at the Gallagher Blue Dorn when we were in college back in like 2016, I think, 15.
I remember that.
Funny guy. Momoa, I loved him a lot in Game of Thrones, but I'll be honest, I have not seen a lot of his stuff since that point. I don't watch Aquaman. I heard he's in a new television series that's decent. Again, he's just kind of a big badass, and like that would be fun in itself because he just seems like he'd be full of life. But I got to go Kurt Warner because he's a UNI alum, and I love football.
I'm stuck between Kurt Warner, Adam Devine. Let me give my answer on Jason Momoa. I think that would be such a strange beer. He would be like, my man, let's go to a deserted island together and drink a beer in our birthday suits and be one with nature,
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
beer.
and at what
I'm like, what
point
the
does he
fuck?
just like? Is it halfway through the beer he rips that shirt off?
It's off before you even have that beer.
Yeah, you
He's
know it's
full.
coming off.
Uh-huh. He's asking you shirtless, but
Hmm.
it's when the bottoms come off and
Right.
2 sips in, he's naked.
And then you're muscle mogged and you have to
Uh-huh.
deal with that, like your scrawny little body next to him. So I just don't know
God.
if I can even
Yeah,
put him there.
I do like Jason Momoa though, but I'm gonna go God. Adam Devine. I wouldn't want to have more than one beer with him. Kurt Warner I could probably have 5 with, but my first beer, Adam.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Adam's new podcast, and I don't know how new it actually is, but I've just started getting the clips for it. I just like I almost like his normal persona more than his like workaholics persona. I think he'd be a lot of fun. I do think it would turn into like a hangover situation where pretty soon you'd maybe one beer in, you'd be getting into some crap.
What if I think of Adam Devine, I think of Pitch Perfect. Adam
Mm-hmm.
Devine
Mm-hmm.
for
Okay.
some reason. That's
Yeah.
always funny
I
out there, a
totally
little
forgot he's in
crazy.
that, but yeah.
Uh-huh. But I don't know. So I stepped outside. Obviously, I got the meat sweats right now, and I stepped outside, and it feels like it's 95 degrees out, but
Yeah.
it was only 74 degrees at that time. That's just how freaking humid it is right now. So July 7th, weather records in Waterloo, Iowa. Highest temperature was 140 degrees, and you already know the freaking date, 1936.
Yeah.
Unbelievable how this keeps happening.
Pre World War II
Uh
is
huh.
always what it's going to be.
Lowest temperature was set at 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Holy shit! How is that
Ooh,
possible in
wow.
1984? How is that even a July 7th?
Yeah, that is wild. Imagine that waking up on July 7
That would be
with
freaking
40
awesome.
degrees.
I'd want that right now.
Well,
I'd like it for like
I'll say
20
this.
minutes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Uh
That
huh.
is the best part of going. We've been going on this Wisconsin trip for my whole life, and it's predated me like 50 years. I forget exactly how long my grandma's been going. Um, that is a big reason why they decided to go up north in the middle of July because you get a great break from the humidity. 40 degrees for like just a morning would be amazing.
Getting ready for fall, and that's
Yeah.
after the July 7th or July 4th. I'm always feeling it's one more week or 2 weeks of summer, then I'm completely over it. It's time for
Hmm.
football season and fall weather.
Yep.
But the
100%.
most rain was set back in 1922 at 1.61 inches. And have you seen the videos from Curryville, Texas, of the
Yeah, a
flooding?
little bit. Yeah, not good.
80 some people have lost their lives. I think still like 20 some missing. And
Yeah.
that is absolute. The river rose like, I don't even want to say a number, something absolute astronomical in
Yeah.
like 40 some minutes where it just caught everyone by surprise at night. But scary stuff how bad floods can be when you get
Yeah.
a bunch of rain in a short amount of time. So thinking of the people there in Texas, and hopefully we just can be able to clean up and move forward from it and
Yeah. No
show
doubt.
respect to the families. Average temperature 83.8 degrees. Today we have a high of 84 here in Waterloo. Just like I said, it's going to be humid as hell, baby. But a big day for July 7th here in the state of Iowa because the University of Iowa was founded on this date in 1847.
That's a huge date. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's kind of crazy how we keep getting these days on these one-day podcasts that all these big dates happen to land on this podcast
Yeah, that
Monday.
happened to land on these Mondays. I
Uh-huh.
still remember the one back in January or February when we had Ozzy Osbourne biting
Yeah,
me in
that
the
was
head off
crazy.
the
Those
bat.
are
I couldn't believe that was that day.
no, we don't make this up. So it's not like people would almost think that we strategically plan our podcast around these historic dates of
Yeah.
Iowa. No.
Whatever happens on the Monday, we've been
Yeah.
getting pretty lucky.
And I guess there was a significant tornado outbreak set back in 1978. I know Algona, I think was that year? Algona is either 1978 or 1979 where they had an F3 tornado tear apart half the town. It was bad.
Damn.
Uh-huh.
My parents would have been like 8 or 9 years old. I'll have to ask them.
Mm. Does Pella ever have any tornadoes? You know?
Yeah. They had one 10 years ago or so that tore open one of the Vermeer manufacturing warehouses. But that's like more of the eastern side of the town. I feel like you get that similar lake effect that I would imagine Cedar Falls and some of those towns get, where I feel like they are close, but they dissipate around the lake. So closer to where I was at, like Lake Red Rock, you didn't get as many, but every so often.
Interesting. So no traumatizing weather really.
No, I wouldn't say I'm the dome, and you've been keeping me updated on all the big storms that have passed you this summer. I don't get to see a lot of them in person, but I get a lot of thunderstorms. So I'm still waiting on my first big in-person tornado.
Well, we're going to go into Iowa news here. And speaking of weather, we might as well kick off with this because the derecho Bryce was roughly about 5 years ago
Yeah.
coming up here. And I don't know if you've seen this, but a Cedar Rapids local man turned one of his derecho trees that were torn down.
Mm-hmm.
He cut it down to like a big stump and it sat in his lawn for about 5 years. And he finally decided what he wanted to do with this tree stump from the derecho. And he turned it into a Caitlyn Clark sculpture.
Yeah. Yeah. This did come across my timeline, and it's honestly, I'll say it's better than the Butter Cow. I'm a big fan of his artwork.
By far.
Awesome.
By
Yeah.
far, it's out in nature for everyone to see. And I was looking at the address because it's Southwest King Drive, which is right near my work. I can get there in probably 30 seconds. So
Yeah, you'll have to
next
check
time
that out.
I'm absolutely going to go check it out this week. So what happened was, just quote here from Gary Miller. He's like, I cut it down myself, left the stump, not knowing what I was going to do with it at the time. He says, over the winter, I had this idea of a shot Caitlyn making against the record-breaking against Michigan. So that's what the shot is replicating. And you're probably wondering, who the hell sculpted this friggin' thing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm looking at that picture right now we have in our drive. I mean, it's painted too precise too. So the artist is Clint Hennick out of Mount Vernon, is a chainsaw artist that helped bring the Caitlyn Clark replica of that moment in Miller's front yard. It took him 3 days to complete the statue, which includes her 22 jersey, a signature ponytail, Nike logos, and even a basketball that weighs nearly 25 pounds.
Yeah, it's incredible work, and I'll make sure to throw this up on the screen because it's worth seeing again, even if you saw it on social media this last week or two. Incredible job. It's so
I would
cool.
just be worried about some dipshit doing something to it.
Yeah, having that stuff in your yard is always kind of a fun but also risky thing to do because teenagers are going to come and do different things to it, but I think it's still worth doing.
Yeah, I saw the video of Gary Miller talking about the statue in his yard and saying, he's like, I've never seen so much traffic on my road. Literally, you have the news. Everyone in the state
Yeah.
already knows about the statue. I'm good enough for me to be there. I'm going to be there this week. Go checking it out. And he just asked the one thing. Just like, just appreciate and respect it, please.
Yep, that's fair. Gosh, we were just talking. We were together with Scott, Dusty, Darian, myself, and reliving some of the things you would do as a teenager, the teepeeing, the ding dong
Yeah.
ditching. When you're in rural Iowa, sometimes that involves BB guns and mailboxes. I think that's a worthy ask. Just be respectful and appreciate the art, because that's pretty cool. It'd be awesome if that thing could stay standing.
Yeah, luckily it's in Hawkeye territory, so there shouldn't be any
That's
Iowa
true.
State fans looking to be up to no good.
That is true.
We talked last week about the big news or the big law news that was taking effect on July 1st in the state of Iowa, the hands-free law, where I mean all cell phones must not even be touched while operating a vehicle, not even to answer a call. And we agreed with it on some terms, but after seeing how much law enforcement is dictating this freaking law to us
Yeah.
local drivers, it's almost, and which we knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
We knew
It,
they were going
they're
to
going to come in
force.
hot.
They're going to come in hot. So without being told, you were told exactly how they were going to operate with it. On your side, do you know anyone that's been picked off yet?
No personal friends or family yet, but um, allegedly, we saw in the Iowa Chill Show comments, those first couple days, people were already getting picked off, and you never know the legitimacy of those comments. It does seem like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were already getting picked off.
Yeah. One of our drivers at my company got picked off just from answering a phone call, hit answer,
Really?
got him a
Okay.
ticket and everything.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, God damn it. It's like, you got to be able to just hit answer on your phone,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
know what's so I helped my mom move in Ankeny last Tuesday. I think it was the first day of July, and I'm getting calls and texts from my brother and my mom, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to be good on day one here. Like, and it's a 30-minute drive, so it's like, I'll be there in a minute, but you still have that like urgency to like answer the call.
Hmm.
It's gonna be tough, especially the phone call from family.
Yeah. He said it was just enough. He saw, hey, he's like, even if you just hit answer, you can't be doing that. So got him
Mm-hmm.
the ticket, not even a warning. You figured they'd maybe
Okay.
shoot some warnings, but they fired a ticket at him right away. And then just, I don't know. So you got to be your heads over your shoulders right now, which is
Mm-hmm.
terrible. You're super
Yeah.
paranoid driving right now because they're freaking looking for it.
Yeah, we have a 8-hour drive on Friday, and I will be hands free. I will have Darian be running the music, the podcasts, answering any phone calls. I'm gonna try and be better. I got roasted a little bit, and rightfully so, because we were on record saying that we're not very good at this. I want to be better. I want to be hands free. I think that's a smart thing to do. It's the safest thing to do. But yeah, it's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. No, I've definitely seen some improvement on my end. So it's working. But I just don't like that paranoia
Yeah, I
factor
know.
of them
I
just
know.
hovering around you. One thing I did notice from 4th of July is the old Iowa saying, Bryce, knee high by the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we almost built
Mm-hmm.
Iowa Chill off of, right? That
Yep.
slogan. I'm hearing from farmers and hearing from my father in law, if you're knee high by 4th of July, you are behind
Yeah, you need to
nowadays.
step your crop game up.
Well, especially this year because that's all we talked about. I'm like, how high is this freaking corn? So I even
Yeah.
called him. I'm like, hey, I'm like, is this a record? From as much as I can remember, this has to be a record for the highest the corn's ever been by that time of the year. You've had
That's
perfect weather factors
great to hear. Yeah.
with a shit ton of rain, but on top of the shit ton of rain, a shit ton of sunshine.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
just feeding it, and obviously the plant genetics from Pioneer and all
Yeah.
that stuff is fertilizing, so which
They're
helps.
top tier these days. Yeah.
But
Like they're weatherproof, and like you said, it's just been perfect conditions. But I'm glad to hear that from a farmer, because in my mind, we're going on these country walks. A part of the 75 hard is that she has to do 2 workouts in a day. So we've been finding new routes to walk through the country over by us. The corn is like 7 feet tall already by us. So
it's
it's good to hear
ridiculous.
that it's abnormally tall, because it seemed crazy tall.
God, they're going to be harvesting by freaking August.
Yeah, because
One
now
of
it
these
looks
years.
like it's
This is
going to be pretty dry, like almost like perfect drying out conditions. Like it
uh
almost seems like GMO weather this year.
Yeah, don't get people started on that.
Yeah, that's a whole we should have a conspiracy pod, the cloud seeding and
There's
all
a
that stuff.
there's a GMO dome around me. There's one
Yeah,
guy, one engineer, one scientist hired by the government just to make sure I don't receive storms. I
yeah. I
get
think that's
rain. I get rain, but I want to see storms. I want to see high winds, a lot
that's
of lightning, thunder, tornadoes is what I want to see, but I just don't get it.
yeah. We got to headline that conspiracy pod with your dome effect.
We got to have a whole episode on that. I have decades of evidence, and I'm constantly shooting you evidence. God.
We'll put like the creepy music behind you as you explain years worth of
Mm-hmm.
rain conspiracy.
Yeah, there's something mysterious
Speaking of
about it.
rain, Nate, pretty good news in the Des Moines area. I've been trying to keep you updated on the nitrate levels. Obviously, with all these farmers and the way that we keep our crops healthy, a lot of that includes manure, and the manure produces a heavy strain on the water facilities that clean the drinking water and the tap water around here. Um, it was becoming overrun the last month or so, and nitrate levels got to a point where we couldn't water our lawn and have Des Moines Waterworks feel safe having us drink it as well. So we've been on a water ban for 3 weeks or so. But good news, they say if we continue this, water levels and nitrate levels are looking a lot better. We've had consecutive days since the 4th of July where those levels have dropped, and we're, it looks like, on the mend.
How so? You guys still are not allowed to water your lawns, dude?
Yeah, no
That's insane.
residential property can
How
do that.
how's the grass looking? Have you guys got enough natural rain out there, or is it
Yeah, we got a couple big ones over the fourth
okay?
weekend.
That
Perfect
helps.
timing too. That hangover on July 5th. There's nothing better than a heavy rain, and that's exactly what we got. So it's actually been like kind of like perfect. It looks like it's going to be a drier week, so we'll have to see how things go. But yeah, currently nobody watering.
Damn, yeah,
Watering lawns.
I'm glad you gave me these updates because I would have figured that would have been like a 1-2 week ban at most, but you guys are still in the water ban, huh?
Yeah, and this will be year 5. We'll have completed year 5 in October, and I haven't experienced this before since living in Des Moines, but it's been interesting and kind of as you were saying, like I expected it to be a week, but we'll see how long it goes. I'll keep the people updated.
Yeah, thanks for the update. What I need a freaking update on is the 250th anniversaries that Trump's trying to throw a party for the America here. That's allegedly kicking off at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. What?
Yeah,
Because I know Trump was here. I've been trying
yep.
to look everything into, but all I heard was him talking about a bill instead of actually the party itself. So, is this party happening and when?
Yeah, so last minute, the big beautiful bill, as he describes it, was passed July 2nd or 3rd. I forget which day that went through Congress. And he basically made that a victory lap as he was planned to come to Iowa to talk about America 250. So what it sounds like is he kicked off the celebration on July 3rd at the state fairgrounds. Um, the next year will basically be a roadshow of celebration. So I think
Oh, it's
states
next year.
it's kind. I mean, next year on July 4th will be the official 250.
Oh, see, that's why I'm like, dude, I'm like, if this shit's happening this year, how come I haven't heard anything about it? I forgot
Right.
that it's next year.
So it
Okay,
does
that
sound
makes
like
sense.
Iowa's it's kind of in Iowa's court to do anything extra with it. He just kicked it off essentially by
Okay.
stating that it's going to happen. I was looking into it a little bit more. It looks like Alabama and South Dakota and some other states have already kind of put something on the calendar for ways to be involved, but it seems like a state by state level. I know that a lot of people in our comments when we brought this up and showcased that Trump was visiting were not pumped about the fact that state fairs might get overlooked here. I don't think that's going to be the case. It sounds like it's a state fair as usual, and America 250's like official celebration. The culmination will be next year on July 4th. So I'm not
So
sure if
it's
Iowa's going to be doing anything crazy, but I guess we can keep updated because
okay.
I'm in the same boat. I can't see anything additional from that.
Okay, that's good because dude, when I say I'm fried from July 4th, I don't want to celebrate anything more right now. So I really wasn't excited for this big
Yeah,
statewide, countrywide party that was going to take place in Iowa. So
yeah,
now I got a full year to kind of prepare myself for it. So that's good. That's good news for me.
yep, yeah. And I think basically it was. I think he just kicked it off. I mean, like you said, it more so became about what they were able to do with that bill that got passed. But still cool that he stopped by. My uncle was actually able to capture Air Force One coming in. It flew right over his
Oh,
house, so he put that on the
oh, that's
story,
way
and
dope.
that was pretty fun. But yeah, I think otherwise, business as usual for us.
Okay, that's good to hear. Uh, Before we get into our top 5 segment this week, which we're going to be ranking the top 5 Iowa small colleges, Bryce, I give me the scoop, man. I want to know more about this Wisconsin trip. What are you looking forward to? What plans are set? And where in Wisconsin
hmm
do you go?
So we go almost straight north of Madison, a few hours to the North Woods. Superior dips down into
Mm-hmm.
you know basically where we're staying is latitude with Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, but it feels much further north because of Superior dipping so far down into Wisconsin. We've been going for my whole life, and it's a lot of fishing. And most recently for me, since I picked up golf, it'll be at least a day or two of golfing. So lots of
Nice.
barbecuing, fishing, boats, sandbar days, all the good stuff. And we get the entire extended family on my mom's side together. So kind of a big family reunion every year and something we really look forward to.
Good. I'm really hoping you didn't have too good of a time on July 4th so that you're refreshed and ready for the good family vacation. I'm sure you're experienced because you've been doing it your entire life. So how to celebrate that accordingly. Speaking of golf, I just saw the first I Would Show golf video come out. Just finished it.
Yes.
Your
Yep.
boy's putting was just about as bad as you, Danny Logan and I's putting.
Yeah.
Um, I did want to compliment you. Your divots are great, man. Your golf
Yeah.
swing's beautiful, especially on camera. You take
Yes.
really good divots throughout that round. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, you're striking the club well.
Those are very kind words. I've been working hard on that. So I think I've mentioned it a few times on the show, at least definitely to you in person. The golf game was in shambles. I had one of my best ball striking years of all time last year, and all of a sudden I got the hosels, and I had to fix something. Some of that was alignment. A lot of it is coming over the top. So if you see my swing and you roast it, that's probably what it's about. But yeah, we've slowly been working on it. We're really, really working on that transition, getting some lag, so I can get my distances back to normal. But it's trending upward. We're feeling better about the game in general.
By the way, I'm not going to give you guys that putt, the COVID putt. Always pull the pin.
Yeah.
If that was pin, he was making that putt. He didn't have that much speed on it.
Yeah.
Always pull the pin. The pin will never treat you well unless you're professional for some reason. If you're
Yep.
amateur like us, it just ricochets it out of the hole every time.
I know. I
So
can't believe
I'm
it.
not.
And I felt guilty about counting it, and I kind of agree. So it's really up to the commenters. If anyone has something to say, we take that back.
So some scary news about my golf game, Bryce. This is terrifying. I'm now hitting the ball straight. You're
Oh,
wondering,
no.
you're wondering why that's scary. Because I'm so comfortable aiming slight left,
Oh, yeah.
and now I'm just hitting it straight. And I don't know, it just drives me nuts.
Oh,
And
there's
I
nothing
don't know.
scarier
No.
than planning for a fade and then it doesn't fade.
So then they're like, Nate, just one time, aim straight this hole. So I did, and I slice it. So my drive's been the most consistent part of my game the last couple of years. So I got to figure that out. It is somewhat good news I'm hitting the ball straight because I'm getting like 40, 50 yards farther on my drive, which is desperately needed. But ever since our terrible, atrocious putting with Danny and Logan, all four of us were so bad at it that I tried my best to fix the putting. And I've been watching a lot of Bryson DeChambeau.
Mm-hmm.
So you will notice next time you play with me, my brother calls me Nathan DeChambeau on the putting green.
Yeah.
So
I've seen your very stiff arms.
Yeah, heavy. Okay, so I've gotten even more stiff, and my putting's never been better. So yeah, I'm hitting putts, good 10-footers like it's nothing now. So I wish we would have had that day, but I don't know. The game's changing in different ways, so you're just adapting week by week, and then hopefully I'm in a 3-man this weekend. I was trying to hit you up in Tama. I'm golfing with Fluff and Coob.
Oh,
Lord
nice.
Help, Lord help us in Tama this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah, it's an interesting thing because the first part of the year everything's wet and hairy, and now everything's dry and fast. So it's like, I don't know. God help the putting. It's not been good this year.
All right, Bryce, let's get into our top 5 segment this week. This was one of the toughest lists trying to put together on my end. How did you do?
Oh, as usual, like very quick and not a lot of thought to it. I factored in a few different things: entertainment, sports, and education, and it was very off the cuff. I didn't do a lot of research. I didn't do like graduation stats and where you went, your placement after finishing your degree, or even stats on how many championships you've won, or really even looking into the entertainment around there. I went off the cuff and off my gut.
As usual, yeah, these lists are put together very quick, and obviously they're in favor of what we think about these colleges. And if you're a junior in high school, do not listen to us.
I would put zero weight into this list.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go ahead. I'll start with my number 5. I do want to get a quick background of how I did it. Sports, location. Location is always a big thing here. We talk about all the time on the podcast, and just relevancy. Have I heard of this college a lot? How much have I heard of it? And basically, yeah. So
Okay.
my number five is college. Uh, sports, mainly sports. I hear a lot of good
Yep.
things about their basketball program. My coworkers on the football program about how they dominated the year. They're going to the playoffs almost every year. Baseball's got a lot of good history there too. Apparently, here recently as well. The reason why it sits at number five, well, you're in Cedar Rapids. Yeah, you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting higher because of that.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I was working at Need Pizza back in the summer of 2016, and I worked with two guys, one football, one baseball. They agree. Sports are good there, and they had a lot of fun. One of the most fun things that Co does is the senior skip day.
Yep. No, I think it's not just senior skip day; it's the entire school.
Yeah, what is that called? Do you remember?
Oh God, I don't know, but the background story is that they wake up that day and they get a big text from college just saying for no reason, no classes today.
Yeah,
So everyone just parties super hard, and it is one of the coolest traditions here out of all the small colleges or heck, all the university colleges in state.
I like that. I threw an honorable mention for Dordt College and Sioux Center. Um, Small but mighty and growing athletic program. They didn't have a football program for a lot of years, and since that point, they've had some quality Pella athletes go through Dordt and kind of revive that football program. And I think they're doing a lot of good things up there. Um, Mostly get a shout out just because I lived up there and I would hang out at the college and play at the rec center.
Yeah, I see
Um,
a lot of clips about their basketball program. I mean, that's up in Dutch territory,
mhm.
so that's
Yeah,
expected.
yeah. The pipeline between Orange City, Sioux Center, and Pella is unbelievable. Like the just tight Dutch connection and religious
I would
connection.
love to see like a coach's recruiting board at Dort. You
Yeah.
know, when you think of like a pipeline for like the University of Iowa, you got like down in Texas, California, you're trying to get these back at
Hmm.
big athletes, and here's Dort, Pella, Northwest Iowa.
Yeah.
Just
Hmm.
pins on all the Dutch towns trying to get the guys out of there or
Yep.
keep them.
100%. Speaking of Dutch towns, I threw Central on there for my number five. My official number five is Central in Pella. I think it gets an unnecessary amount of hate because it's a technical dry campus. Drinking is not a big thing in Pella. More so these days, I would assume, but just in general, not a lot of things to do if that's your way of having fun. But the athletics are great. A lot of tradition, a lot of winning tradition there. And Pella's a clean, nice town.
That was my first ever basketball offer was from Central,
Yep,
and
mine
I
too.
can't
I think
imagine.
first and only, unfortunately.
It sounded so terrible. From like going, I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't want to go frickin' Central. That sounds terrible. I
yeah.
wish I would have given basketball a try in college. I really do, but no,
God, the good
didn't.
teams there. I forget all the guys that played on that would have been on our team. Solid team. Good lineup of players. Nate, for number four, I'm going exactly what you were saying. This is a location based pick. Luther, Decorah.
Okay, my number four, Bryce is Luther, Decorah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. I mean, I did a little research in this one, and everyone's just saying raving about the
Mm-hmm.
beautiness of the campus, and especially Decorah, the town, and the campus itself. And I've driven by it multiple times while on my deliveries, and my coworker played basketball there, so he had nothing but good things to say about it. He's like, I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. It's cool.
Okay. What's your number three?
We're so fucking bad at ranking. Number three.
Fair enough. Luther at four.
Did you
What's number
watch the
three?
Iowa Chill podcast, daughter, to make sure you know what colleges you want to go to? My number three, Bryce, is okay. My number three, Bryce, is Morningside. Uh,
Nice.
for their, we've gotten some Sioux City, some shit. I think Briarcliff is a good college there too. Morningside
Yeah.
sticks out a little bit more to me because of Brandon Wagner once played football.
Yeah.
Brandon Wagner
Yeah.
played here, so it's the number
Mhm.
three college on my list. And my cousin Chris, did you know Chris played at Morningside with Brandon Wagner?
I did. And one of
Chris
the
was the
crazier
punter.
things in life is that Chris was a wide receiver at one point.
Yes. Yeah, he was a
I
hell
love
of a
that.
wide receiver.
Speed
Old State
demon.
honors. Yeah, but he went to Morningside the punt. I don't think he maybe punted on the JV team, but while he was at Morningside, he just talks about the dominance of the football program
Hmm.
and how he had a good time there.
Yeah. And I'm going with Northwestern for my number three because of a similar reason. You have a quality Dutch town in Orange City. Shout out to the Orange City Public Pool, by the way. One of my favorite memories as a kid was going to the little mushroom cloud waterfall over in Orange City Public Pool. Northwestern, good athletics, good town,
You
and
got your Dutch colleges up in here, don't
we
you?
got plenty of Dutch representation on this list. That's the
Yeah.
last in the Northwest Iowa area, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. My number two, Bryce, is Wartburg. Uh, Wartburg, I think, is one of the strongest branded colleges. I think they got one of the best logos, the Knights, beautiful facilities. I know I did the Snow Valley basketball camp up there, and I absolutely never hated anything more in my life than being at that camp. But the facilities were awesome. From my understanding, though, it's very cultish up there.
Yeah.
A lot of good programs, but if you're not a Wartburg Knight, they want nothing to do with you. You
Yep.
know,
And
which is sad
that's
to see.
Waverly in general. So Nate, this is
Yeah,
also my number two. Um,
really. Okay.
Great rivalry between Wartburg and Central, and for good reason. They compete at a high level against each other. And just typical Waverly. Yeah. Just it's a kind of a cult mentality. You're either Waverly or Pella or you're not. And
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. You know, they're loyal to each other and to their school, and obviously their football program, and almost any program I hear about Wartburg's been pretty strong. So
Yep.
I'm going to wrap up this number one. I'm curious to see if we have the same number one here. My number one small college in Iowa is Grandview.
Okay, nice. Nope,
Okay,
that's
so
not my number one,
just
but
strictly because of the football program,
mm-hmm.
absolute dominant historical program. I know they just lost their head coach up to Drake, but I have faith that Grandview will carry on its tradition. And you're in Des Moines, you know
Mm-hmm.
what's wrong with that? Nothing.
Yep.
You might
This
not want to be on
this
campus location, but you just drive a couple miles and then you're in a better spot in Des Moines.
Yeah, and my main experience with Grandview is the very first fortnight in Iowa, if you remember
Oh
that
yeah,
moment.
yeah, yes, of course.
Great facility, um,
EA
great
Sports,
facilities, but that was an awesome
esports.
esports moment,
Uh-huh.
and just the fact that they were able to do that kind of event, hundreds of people streaming and hundreds of people playing with no lag was very impressive, and
Absolutely
obviously, yeah,
nuts.
just tons of success in football lately. Nate, controversial number one,
Okay.
and for very valid reason. If you have complaints, I understand. Drake.
I was gonna stop you this morning, but I have faith you weren't gonna
Mm-hmm.
put Drake on there.
Yep, I put him on there. I'm saying that they're small relative to Iowa, Iowa State, and UNI. I think it is a fraud number one, but it's an easy number one if you include them. The success in basketball lately, it's a great law program,
Pharmacy.
academics at a high level. You're in Des Moines, you've got great restaurants and bar scene. I would love to go to Drake if I want to stay close to the Des Moines area.
Yeah, there's the way you rank. There's no doubt about it. But to me, there's four main colleges in Iowa, and Drake is that fourth one,
Mm-hmm.
size wise, obviously. So I was thinking everything outside of the four. I should have
Yep.
stopped
I
you, but
totally respect you.
yeah, I think you were just struggling with your list to find an extra one, so you threw something in there.
That's pretty much what happened. And apologies to anybody for if you were looking for a detailed breakdown of academics and sports and entertainment combined. We didn't give that to you in this list, even
I,
close.
I saw a lot of articles pumping out Grinnell, and I can't think
Yeah,
of anywhere else I'd rather go to college than Grinnell, just because I don't want to be in Grinnell. It's a nice town. It's pretty.
the
It's just in
jewel
the
of the
middle of
prairie.
nowhere. It's just middle of
Hmm.
nowhere, kind of.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I don't know how I feel about it. Um, to me, it's no different than like being at Central. Like, there's not a lot to do in Pella outside of like go
Hmm.
to school and stuff. So maybe that's a good thing. Very interesting college.
I
Like,
just can't.
very,
It's such a hard list to rank because I think all of them suck in the manner of which I can't imagine going to anywhere smaller than you and I.
yeah.
Just the
Because you and I
size.
felt tiny.
Yeah, you and I felt small, but it was big enough for me. I went from an
Hmm.
incredibly small class in high school to you and I, and the more facilities, the game day events. I really didn't go to them, but the parties, you had like your own bar town too.
Hmm.
You're in Cedar Falls, a great town. So I don't know. I just couldn't imagine going anywhere to like a small college where it feel like a glorified high school.
Yeah,
So it's hard to rank
100%.
things.
That came across our plate last week. We posted the World Atlas ranking of most beautiful small colleges in Iowa, and Grinnell was on there. And I'm like, beautiful is an interesting take on that because I've been to that campus, and it's not beautiful, but it's not like special in
You
any
don't think
way that
so?
I was.
I drive
Yeah,
through it all the time. I think it's pretty.
yeah, okay,
I think it's
yeah,
really pretty. I think Grinnell
fair
is
enough.
one of the most upkept towns I think I've seen, at least in the parts I've driven through.
Yeah,
talk
Yeah,
about it.
that
But
they
I
were
just
a rival in high school. We spent a decent amount of time in
that's
Grinnell.
why.
I have no
See, I
no
always have
complaints.
bias.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I see why you're
Mhm.
you're trying to compliment them, but you just can't. It's like me trying to
Yeah.
give Iowa State a compliment. I
Right.
get it, man.
Mhm.
So we hope you guys have decided what college you would like to go to after this very well thought process list we put together for you all.
Yeah, that was fun. It always is. And there's
Uh-huh.
times when I feel like I have a lot of knowledge. When it came to pizza, I've been to a lot of spots.
Yeah,
Speaking of
yeah.
Grinnell, Polly Eyes was on there. Um, there are some weeks where I just don't have a lot of intel. When you pick a college, like we did for you and I, you spend a lot of time at UNI. And
See, our
I
list
don't
is
have
for
it.
the average Joes. We are the most average Joes of all time. So we're not your scientist guys that are going to go deep dive. I just quick answer. Sure,
Yeah,
this might be a
100%.
cool spot. So I don't know. We'll see what we're up for next week. We've ranked a lot of shit, Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
We got to put ourselves out more there. More. I want to do like a top 5 burger place.
Okay.
I just don't get burgers that much more anymore. I don't even know where the hell I'd rank one.
Yeah, that would be fun. And
We
we
need
could definitely,
recommendations, people. I'm trying. We need more recommendations. Top 5 segments to get this thing cooking.
yeah.
Shit, which it has been cooking, but we're due to run out here soon.
So I did propose something last podcast.
Oh yeah, yes,
This
yes.
week will be a little interesting. So next week I will be in Wisconsin. The cell phone reception is very spotty. The podcast reception probably even worse. So I'd love to find a way to get something recorded either tonight, sometime later in the week, and do almost like a special top 5 moments, top 10 moments in Iowa history or Iowa chill history, just for something that we can schedule and still keep our Monday streak going.
Okay, so we need to record an extra podcast probably before you head up to Wisconsin.
I think that would be smart.
And
I do have Wi-Fi. It's just hit or miss.
when do you leave again?
We'll leave Friday.
Okay, so we have some time.
We have a little time. Yep.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep in touch. We'll figure out what we got to do. But folks, go wreck this week. We made it through the 4th of July. This is a very tough week to recover. Let's recover in shambles together.
Yeah. Always good talking. Thank you for watching and listening. See you later.